and welcome to the First Watch podcast. My name is Drake. I will be your host for this podcast. I will be joined by a rotating group of friends who come together and discuss their first watches, whether they be from the 1920s, the 2020s, or anything in between. Now, this is going to be a spoiler-heavy podcast, so if you haven't watched the movie already, you could either do one of two things. You could either, one, join us for the conversation and decide whether or not you want to watch the movie for the very first time, or two, you can pause this podcast, go watch the movie for the first time, and then come back and join us for the conversation. Now, without further ado, sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, and enjoy the combo. Hello, welcome back to yet another episode of the First Watch podcast. Today, I am joined by someone who I found on Twitter a long time ago when I first started my film Twitter page. And I've just kind of been paying attention to for several months. He has his own YouTube channel called JustJoshings on YouTube. I have actually been a fan of what movies you watch. Like, I pay attention to what movies you watch because I know that I'm in for a good time if you like them. Josh, go ahead and say hello to everybody.
Hey everyone, I'm Josh. I like movies, and we're here to talk about movies.
Yes, we are. Here to talk about A Hidden Life. That was my first Terrance Malick film.
Yes.
Like, as I was telling you before I hit record, I had to thank you for introducing me to this movie because I was not aware of it at all, which is funny because this kind of stuff is usually on my radar.
Yeah.
At least things that are centered around this subject matter are on my radar, and I had no idea.
Yeah, it's really interesting film, I'd say, visually speaking and stuff like that. But we'll get into that. We'll get into it.
Yeah. I think this is a movie that we both had to watch for the first time. When did you come across this movie?
I came across it. Wait, where did I come across it? Did you say?
Yeah, when did you come across it?
When
did you find out about it?
I found out about it at Cannes Film Festival. I think it was like 2018-ish. I saw Carsten Runquist. He went to Cannes and he was talking about it. He didn't get to see it because he said he was very tired, quote unquote, and didn't get in. But I heard about it and I wanted to see it because it's Malick. I love Malick. Tree of Life is one of my favorite films of all time, so I kind of wanted to see this one. It is very long, this one, so it was a very daunting thing for me, but yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it is a really long film. It's like, for those who don't know, if you haven't seen A Hidden Life, it is like 3 hours long.
Yeah, and it feels it.
It feels it.
To be honest,
you're not
feels
wrong.
double
it really
that.
does feel it. It definitely feels like it is 3 hours long. I watched it yesterday morning. It was like the first thing that I did. I woke up, got my coffee, and started to watch it. And I was like, I'm gonna need more coffee. Like, this is really long. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. I had a good time, but it is a very long movie.
Yes, 100% very long.
Do you want to kind of break down what the movie is about?
Yeah, so the film is about an Austrian farmer named Franz Jagerstrater, who effectively he lives in solitary with his wife and children, but he faces the threat of execution for refusing to fight in World War II. And it basically goes from there. And it's a very spiritual film, I'd say. It's very spiritually in sync with what you would expect from Malick, especially recent Malick. It's not like Badlands Malick, where it's quite narratively, it's got that narrative structure. This is a very non-linear structure to it, which most Malick films of recent memory do, like Knight of Cups, like Song to Song even, which it's not my favorite one, but I like it still. But I think Malick's an interesting director when it comes to that kind of thing.
Yeah, I didn't really know much about Malick. I've obviously heard of his name several times, just in conversation about movies.
Yeah.
And I know he's an American director, so I was very curious as to like what his connection to something that the subject matter would have been. I didn't really find anything in that regard, but um, having someone talk about some of the people that decided to dissent against the Nazi army and like not fight, like fight for them because they were like, nah, I'm not having it. Which is, you know, the whole point of this movie is a man just not wanting to do that because he has morals. But then what happens due to those morals? Because, you know, his whole family is like persecuted
Yep.
and treated like shit for
Yeah, it's kind of a
in a small
devastating.
village.
Like one man's implications has implications on a wider spectrum of people, in a way. Like,
Yeah. And it's not that he doesn't see that. It's that it's not that he doesn't care. It's just like this something deeper inside of him that is like, I can't go to sleep at night or die at the end of this and feel
mhm,
okay with what I would have done had
yeah,
I actually fought for the Nazis. And I think there's one thing that we don't talk about enough is the amount of people who did make that
yes,
decision or brave enough to make that decision because there were so many people who were afraid of what would happen if they didn't comply
mhm,
that they were just like, we're gonna do this anyways. Um, we're not gonna, we're not gonna fight back and say no.
mhm,
We're just gonna give in because we feel that we don't have any other choice.
100%. Yeah, I feel
It's kind of tricky.
I feel like a lot of what makes this film impactful is the cinematography to it, which Malick knows what he's doing. This isn't Emmanuel Lubezki who shot his other stuff. This is someone completely different, and I don't know. It's kind of missing Chivo. It's kind of missing Emmanuel Lubezki, and you can kind of see it. Like it does feel like an Emmanuel Lubezki clone, which I I don't know how I feel about that, but at least it's a pretty image, and
Yeah,
you kind of gets this cold physical space on frame really well, I think.
yeah. Jorg Widmer is who shot it. I probably butchered the fuck out of that,
What?
but
Wait, what's his name? Hold on,
um,
let me look.
Jorg Widmer.
Uh, yeah,
I
Jorg
definitely butchered it.
Widmer, probably, yeah. Oh, he shot. Oh,
Yeah.
he shot some interesting things. He shot Carmen,
Okay.
that really shitty Paul Mescal musical.
Okay. Oh,
American
okay.
Sweatshop, which was ass apparently. Like, and he's shooting the next Malick
Yeah, I don't know
film,
much about.
but
Oh, is he really?
but
I don't know much about Whitmer,
yeah,
so
we don't know when the next Malick film's coming out. He's been saying May for the last like 5 years, so God knows.
yeah. One of the big takeaways, I was gonna sound like very left field compared to like what this movie is about. The first thing I thought of is like I need to get to Austria because it's so fucking
It is
beautiful.
nice, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm imagining they've shot everything in Austria, but like I saw it and I was like, dude, I need to get down there because this place is absolutely
Yeah, I think they
gorgeous.
shot it in Austria. I'm gonna have to fact check that real quick, but um, it is a very picturesque place, I would say.
Which is, I think that's the crazy part about like seeing all of
Yeah, it's
this
like a
and then
juxtaposition
having
kind of thing.
yeah, it's
That's
a
what you get
complete
with
juxtaposition.
it's very I think something like Zone of Interest is very inspired by this. The
Yeah,
juxtaposition between a beautiful image and a harshness happening. Yeah, it was shot in Austria. St. Rage St. Radegund, Upper Austria, apparently. It was also shot in Germany and Italy. Um, and they shot in 2016 and it didn't come out till 2019. Uh,
yeah. I imagine all of the places that they went to, like the camps and the prisons and stuff, were all shot in
mhm.
Germany because I'm assuming those were all um, places that already
Yeah.
existed for the sake of, you know, all the shit that was going
Yeah, they
down
probably
then,
went to real
and they just
camps
kinda used
and
it.
whatnot, like
Yeah, yeah. I would not be surprised if they did that, which would give it an authenticity, um, to the way that you feel about the movie, because it does feel completely authentic, like, you do not feel like you're taken out of the film at all based on the setting, like, everything feels legit. This
it
feels like
feels
it's in
tangible, doesn't
1939.
it? It feels very
Yeah,
tangible.
it it feels like they went back to 1939 and just shot this fucking movie, which for a subject matter like this, that is needed,
Mhm.
or else it is just not gonna
Yeah,
stick at all.
100%.
Um, I know that this is based on a real guy,
Mhm.
um, and I didn't do enough research to find out who he was, like, as a person. I don't know if there's a book about him, but I'm definitely gonna start looking for that and actually try to read it because I immediately became interested.
Mm.
Um, it might be less of a slog than the 3-hour movie that I watched. But, uh, yeah, I definitely wanna know more about this guy because I feel like we know a lot, but we don't know enough.
Mm.
Like, what made him have that decision? Because we see him go and get drafted and go to one of the camps. He's watching all this propaganda, and then he's just like, "I can't," like, you can tell on his face,
He doesn't wanna be
"I
there,
can't
you can
do
tell.
this." He's like, yeah, he's just like, "No." He's looking around, like, he's like, "How in the world is everyone kind of okay with
Mhm.
this?" And he's just like, "No, I don't wanna do this." And then that's I don't know if he goes AWOL, it looks like he goes AWOL,
Yeah.
and I think that's kind of how he got caught up, is because he went AWOL, and then, the village definitely turned against him. Um, but yeah, I find that very fascinating. What did you think about, you were definitely more centered around, at least in your content, is more centered around, like, the cinematography of
Mhm.
things.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to hear your opinion on the cinematography, like the extreme close-ups and stuff like that,
Uh,
for this movie.
um, I it might be one of my least favorite looking Malick films, even though I think all of his films look tremendous. This is just again, like I said, Emmanuel Lubezki, who is his usual cinematographer, isn't a part of it, and you could definitely tell his absence because with Emmanuel, you get a kind of understanding of the frame itself, an understanding of why the frame is working. Like Tree of Life, there's there's a shot of feet feet in a hand, and you can definitely tell that there's a emotional connection to that. But with this, I don't get an emotional connection to anything in terms of the way it's shot.
Yeah, I get that. Actually, I wasn't even really thinking about that until just now.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, I don't really, I don't feel much of an emotional pull
There's pretty
to
images.
anything that I
There's
see.
a lot of pretty images in
Okay,
the film, but
there's nothing
so is stuff
devastating.
on Instagram. Like,
Yeah,
there's not as much of a
yeah. Now that I
connection as I get with, like, Tree of Life or even Song to Song, which is his weakest film, like I said, but
really,
yeah, I don't know.
yeah, I find I'm not really. I guess maybe that's why it felt like such a slog, is because I wasn't as pulled in by it
Mhm.
as I have been with other movies of this subject matter. Um, I guess in that, like, I'm starting to realize how plastic it kind of feels.
Yeah, it does feel
It doesn't
it's weird,
feel.
man.
It's a weird movie now that I think about it a little bit more, which is why I like doing these conversations, and it was kind of the whole point of this podcast was
Yeah.
to, like, sit through and talk about these things. I didn't realize that it doesn't really have much of an emotional
Which is
connection.
weird for a film which is supposed to be about connection and supposed to be about the harshest of things. One of the one of
Yeah.
the most, tribulating kind of events in history, which is World War II and which is, the Nazi Holocaust and which is everything, but there's not much of an emotional connection to the shots themselves, which is weird. I don't know, maybe it was just kind of the looseness of it all, or maybe it was just tiredness, because once you've seen one shot, you've seen them all.
Yeah,
There's no
it's very
variety
much like
between shots, you know?
no. It is very much like we used this shot in the very beginning, we're gonna use it again 5 minutes later, and then we're gonna use it again in an hour
We're
later.
gonna use it again for the entire thing. That's what it kinda felt like to me.
Yeah, yeah, honestly, and I think the extreme close-ups were a little too much.
Mm.
Like, I was kind of put aback by them. I don't know if you were too, but it was, like, right up in their
Yeah, the
faces, and I was just
close-ups are
like,
weird, man. Also, the low angles of some of the shots, like, there's a
"Yeah,
shot, I think in, like, the first 20 minutes where they're at on a bench table, and it's kind
mhm,
of low, and he knocks over a
yeah,
beer, and it's like, w why is the shot low? There's no reasoning behind some of the way that these shots are done. Like, you don't
yeah."
necessarily feel like you're getting anything from that because there's no development in that frame except for, "Oh, dude's a bit drunk." Like, that's what you get from that.
Is this a pretentious fucking film? Is this what we're getting to?
Oh, I've seen a lot of pretentious films like Saltburn, like anything Emerald Fennell does. I wouldn't call this pretentious. I'd just call it a little bit. Um, I don't know what I called it to be honest with you, but it's not pretentious.
Yeah, like, I I've seen so many different World War II movies, uh, from different eras,
Hmm.
and it's very shocking to me that something that is more modern is not pulling me in the same way that something from the '60s or something like Night and Fog would have gotten me. Like, Night and Fog, I was inconsolable for the rest of the day. I was not here, right, at all. Something like this where you have a very compelling story that you don't really hear about
Hmm.
often has no weight
Yeah, I get more connection
in
out
that.
of. I know it's going to sound weird because it's a completely different genre, but I get more connection out of Grave of the Fireflies, which is.
Yeah,
Is that World War One or two? I think it's two.
2,
Yeah, because it's
2,
Hiroshima, wasn't it?
'cause it's the kamikazes
Kamikaze
and
and
whatnot,
Hiroshima and
and
stuff like
yeah.
that. But like, I get more connection out of that, which is 80 minutes long, than I do with a
Yeah,
film which is supposed to be 3 hours long and developing these characters further. Right?
mhm,
It's a very strange dilemma that it puts us in because again, it's a very harsh subject to break down, and the film has the time to do that, but it feels like it's stalling for quite a large chunk. Um, I don't know. Mm, this is probably the least positive I've been on a Malick film.
this is probably the least positive I've been on a film for this podcast in
Holy
general,
shit.
which
Whoops.
I mean, it's not like
Whoops.
I've no,
We
you're
should have
fine,
done
you're fine.
Columbus or something like that.
I know, right? No, it's completely fine because that's kind of the whole point of this thing is to, introduce ourselves to movies that we probably wouldn't watch for the first
Mhm,
time, and then sit through them, and then kind of just look at the subject material and see what we think. Like,
mhm,
that's the whole point of this thing. This is why I wanted to do this, is to be
mhm.
able to sit down and have these
Yeah,
conversations.
talk shit
So I'm
about
completely
Terrance
fine.
Malick.
Yeah. No, like, I don't really see it as talking shit, though. Like, I see
Yeah,
it as
yeah.
taking something that we see in front of us, something that a lot of us know a lot about. I don't know about you. I like history quite a bit. I've
Mm,
watched several
that's
World War II
so-so.
films that I like. Yeah, like I get more of an emotional connection out of Spielberg's Empire of the Sun
Mm,
than I did with this, and that was shot in the '80s. That was done in the '80s, and I had more of an emotional connection to that than something that is more modern day and something that I can look at and looks prettier on the screen, but sadly has little to no substance.
yeah. It is unfortunate.
Now, I will say, I do not wanna take it away from the people who are acting
Of course, yeah. Very, very great.
because the actors are fucking fantastic. I've never seen them outside of this movie. I don't know if they're all
I
Austrian,
think a
but I've
couple of them
looked at
are
the
Austrian.
list. Yeah, I've looked at the list and I don't recognize a single name, which perfectly fine because I don't need to.
Mhm,
Like, for something like this, I feel like I should have something that is more close to the material and close to the people who they're trying to represent on screen. And they knocked that out of the park, and they picked out perfect people to portray something like this. The acting is fantastic. Like, I cannot put it past them at all. But I don't feel that connection to Franz. I don't feel that connection to his wife. And the kids are just there for the sake of
Stakes.
having the kids
They're
there.
there for the sake of, like every film, oh, you got a family? Well, fuck you, kind of thing, you know? You got a family?
Yeah.
Well, look after your family, or go. It's like, okay. We've seen
It's
this a million times before.
yeah. I mean, we haven't seen very many stories of people dissenting against something like the Nazi Party.
Mhm.
We other than maybe Truth and Treason recently of the past, like last year. But as far as like going against the Nazi Party for the sake of having your own morals, we haven't seen much of, or at least I haven't. So I don't understand how this could almost miss the mark. And I feel like if they were to cut this down by like 30 minutes, maybe it would have been a little bit different. But you're taking this subject material and you're stretching it for 3 hours. You're trying to develop this whole feeling of being connected to these people, and I'm just not.
No, I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
Because I don't know about you, I watched this, and like I said, yesterday morning. It was maybe 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was just waking up, sure, fine, whatever, had a cup of coffee, but, like, I was still, like, locked into the movie. I was still trying to watch the movie and, like, kind of mull over everything that I was seeing, and the like, whenever I watch movies for this podcast, I look at it very differently than something that I'm just watching for the sake of watching. I'm trying to find something, I'm trying to connect to something, and I just couldn't.
No.
The entire time. I was like the thing that I was thinking about most was like, "Oh, Austria is beautiful. I wanna go to Austria."
Yeah.
That's about all I gathered from this movie, is that Austria was beautiful,
Right. Yeah.
which I find so sad
I do find it sad, yeah.
because it's all there. It's everything is there and put in place.
All the pieces are
It's just
there,
for
but it's
some
like putting a
reason.
circle in a square hole. You know, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
it's very strange. I think I was gonna give it 5 stars, but now that I look at it, I'm like, "Wait, no, I don't think I can." Because now that no, there's nothing to connect to.
No. I'm like
And again,
lukewarm on it. Like I said, the images are pretty, just don't feel a connection too much. Um, I'm more of like a 2.5 on it, honestly, which is 2.5 out of 5,
yeah.
which is so disappointing. But
No, I don't know if, like, not having subtitles for a lot of the German that is being spoken might have also kind of
I
played
think
into
that's
that.
fine. I think a lot of films can get away with that
Yeah.
sometimes. Because a lot of the time, what I see with some films is that even if they're not spoken in a language which I'm familiar with, such as English, which is my native language, I don't speak any other languages. I could barely say "oui oui," but like we, I feel like some films kind of get away with it because you can tell what they're saying just by the movements of them and their tone of voice. You could tell that, oh, they're
Right.
angry. Okay, that's fine. Or they're upset because they're starting to cry. Okay, that's fine. But if it's a quieter scene where you need the dialogue, then that's what I have an issue with. But
And it feels like there are a couple scenes like that where they are trying to be quieter, they're trying to be, like, more reclusive
mhm,
for very obvious reasons, right? They're
yeah,
trying not to get themselves in trouble, um, because he did go AWOL. He went back home to a small village.
mhm,
And the people in the village are not happy, by the
no,
way. They're not happy with the fact that he decided to go against what they call the fatherland, because at the time, Austria was very much in cahoots with Germany and had a lot of the same values and, was kind of on their side at the time, mostly because they felt that they had to be. Um, I don't know if anyone at that time was willing to actually go against the Nazi party. for the sake of fear,
No, I don't think
which I
anyone
understand.
did. Um,
Um,
Not that I'm aware of.
at least in Austria. Yeah, I mean, France tried. It didn't work, obviously. Um, but as far as Austria goes, like I don't think they were, and it was very obvious that they were like, why don't you just fucking go do it? Like, why don't you just go serve?
Mhm.
And see, that's what's so sad about this movie is that the thing is there.
Mhm.
Like, it's the whole conversation is there.
All the pieces are put in place, it just doesn't fit together very well,
It
does it?
just it just
It's
doesn't.
missing, like, 10 pieces to a jigsaw puzzle, which is
It's so strange because fuck. Because like August does so well, right? August Deal, I think is his last
yeah.
name. I'm probably
Augustal, I think.
butchering this.
Augustal.
Doll.
Is it
Okay.
Doll? Let me have a
Yeah.
look. I think it's Doll. Yeah,
Fantastic.
Augustile.
Valerie
Augustile. Augustile.
August Deal.
Yes.
Yeah. Valerie Pochner. Fantastic. Right?
Mhm.
As his wife. Fantastic. She sells it big time. Even the woman who plays his mother sells it big time. The kids are there. We don't need to worry about them. But I, for some reason, it just still doesn't connect.
No.
Because usually the acting is what gets me to connect to the characters. But I don't know if it's the long slog. I don't know if it's the way that it's shot because it is shot so weird. I don't know if it's the directing in general.
Mm.
How did you feel about the directing in general?
It felt quite
Flat?
it felt like it was made by an old man, which it kind of was. But
I was about to say.
yeah, it kind of feels very, how do I what's the word? Kind of, old person's homey, a little bit.
Yeah, that's
Like, it
fair.
felt quite veteran, which is fine, but, I don't know.
You've seen other Malick
Mhm.
films, right? I have not. I haven't. I think this is my first Malick, which is kind of sad
Mm.
considering that I've been dogging it for the past 20 minutes. Uh, but what do other Malick films do right that this one is obviously doing wrong?
Um, Good question.
And where do you think that disconnect is coming from?
I think what other Malick films do is they build a connection through the image, like I've been saying, which I wish this one did a little bit more. Like, Tree of Life is literally about connection of the human condition, and it's literally going through time, looking at these different evolutions of animals, evolutions of plants, evolutions of people, and you definitely feel it through not just the cinematography, but the edit too, because all of his films since I'd say Days of Heaven have had a very non-linear storyline to them, where they kind of flash forward without any kind of, um, I guess, pathway, which is great. Uh, Tree of Life is the one film for me of Malick's which is just truly perfect because it understands, um, what it means to be a person, what it means to, be a human in today's world. Not necessarily in today's world, but in in the world in general. And I just kind of felt like I was missing that from this. And even Days of Heaven, Days of Heaven, which is a really beautiful film, one of the best looking films ever. Um, which isn't my favorite Malick at all, but again, it's still great. I felt more connection to that than I did this, unfortunately.
Which yeah, like I said, haven't seen many Malick. I hopefully this doesn't put me off to Malick. I don't think it will.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, I you said that he had a different cinematographer
yes.
um for his other
Hmm.
films outside of this one. Do you feel like if he would have stuck with the same cinematographer, it might be a little bit different?
Maybe I think part of it is down to scheduling conflicts because I think he was shooting The Revenant, so he couldn't necessarily do it. It's Emmanuel Lubezki who shot Birdman, The Revenant, stuff like that, who
Mm,
is honestly one of the greats. He's up there with Roger Deakins,
yeah,
but he was shooting The Revenant, so he couldn't do this, which is fine. I was just like, God damn it, you have one job, dude. At least wait.
yeah,
But I think it would have been a little bit different because a lot of Emmanuel's shots actually have a meaning to them. These ones didn't really.
yeah. How did you feel about the chemistry between, um, everybody involved?
What, the actors or?
Yeah,
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 I
yeah,
thought
yeah,
I thought their chemistry was really good. They came out pretty clean from it, I'd say.
yeah.
But
I felt like, you know, Franz and his wife were definitely, like, an actual couple.
mhm,
They felt like a real
they
couple.
felt like a tangible
Um,
unit, didn't they?
yeah, yeah, that part, like, their relationship felt like we plucked it out of, like, real life and stuck it in a movie, but then once they separated,
Mhm,
that's when it really got muddled because you don't feel that, like, that I don't know, something pulling at the heartstrings to get him to wanna go back
mhm,
to his wife at all, and you don't really feel it from her that she's really all that upset that he's gone. Even whenever she was kicking the fence, being upset and being pissed off, like, it didn't feel natural, it felt forced, it
right.
felt weird,
Yeah, I kinda feel that.
which is something that you don't want,
No, you
right?
don't want that at
You
all.
obviously want something that you can connect to, even if you can't really connect to them by way of, like, the same kinda culture, the time period, whatever. But at least the relationships that you see on screen could be somewhat similar to what you deal with in real life, and it wasn't there.
Mhm.
It's it's super duper sad.
It is. It is. I just wish that it actually understood what it wanted to say first without getting too caught up in its mess, because the film definitely gets caught
Yeah.
up in a mess. Like, it gets
Oh, yeah.
caught up in a feeling which just doesn't, feel real, you know?
Yeah.
And it felt like it was trying
And
to elicit a reaction that just doesn't need to be elicited. Um, but that's just me, like, that's just personal.
no, yeah, like, I feel the same way, and usually in movies like this, like, a score
Mm,
goes a long way
yeah.
in portraying the emotion, the feeling, how you should feel. Score was good. I'm a sucker for scores, but it wasn't enough.
No, the score
I don't
was a
know.
definition of a one-trick pony.
Yeah, like, I will listen to scores outside of the film
Yeah, I
itself.
do, yeah.
Like, I
I've got
have
vinyl of 'em.
yeah, yeah,
I've
exactly.
got the
I'm the same
Brutalist
way.
score on vinyl, La La Land, After Sun,
Ooh,
like
I'm jealous. Um, but yeah, like, I'm one of those that, like, during surgeries and stuff, I would listen to, uh, film scores because it got me through it,
mhm.
right? This is one of those film scores that if you were to throw it on, I wouldn't be able to tell you where it came from.
No, exactly. But with Tree of
It
Life,
doesn't
you'll be
have
able
an
to
identity,
tell. That's the thing.
really.
Yeah, with Tree of Life, you'll be able to tell
That
because
makes
that
me
film is, like, so beautifully put together, and it's quintessential Malick to listen to that score, like, 100%.
it kind it kinda feels like someone decided to take Malick, take the cinematographer, take um, the composer, all in different places at different times,
Mm,
and kind of just put them together and go, "Okay, we're gonna take the pieces that all of you have, and we're gonna mash it together and make a movie."
yeah.
It doesn't feel
No,
cohesive.
it doesn't at all. It's weird for Malick because he's usually on top form, but this just feels like he was sleepwalking a little bit.
Yeah. Like, I felt like I understood, ha there's very little that I understood as far as, like, the the way that this was done,
Mhm.
but Like, I can understand why he may have want to draw it out, maybe to keep you, like, locked in, but I wasn't. I watched it, and I enjoyed at least, you know, what I saw in front of me, but, like, this is one of those that I don't even know if I'd watch it again,
Mm,
which is usually something that I would ask, like, at the end of the podcast is, like, whether or not you would watch it again,
no.
but I don't think so.
No, I
I
won't.
think I think the conversation that we have here from here on out is more so, like, what other films did with this subject matter better than this one?
Mm,
Um, even something like The Great Dictator, which is done in what, 29? Or like or sorry, 39
possibly.
is so much better. Like, I watched it probably 6 months ago, 7 months ago, and it's so much better than
Man,
something like this. It's more competent, at
it's
least.
crazy to think a film which is, like, that old did a film better than something new.
It took
Wild.
it like, I had more of an emotional connection to that than I did to this. Like, yes, the emotional connection did not hit until the, speech that Charlie Chaplin gives,
Mhm,
which, I mean, that's obviously the whole point of that movie is to build up to that point, right?
mhm.
And then have that catharsis of him being like, "What the fuck are we doing?" But I had more connection to something that was done 80, 90 years ago than something that was done 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
That's so
It is
strange to
strange,
me.
it is strange. Especially considering how new it could have felt, but God.
Yeah. Um, I don't know what they could have. Is there anything that you think that they could have done to made it better? Like, of what you know of Malick's films, is there something that he could have done from a different film that he did in a different film
Uh,
and applied it to this to make it somewhat
just
different?
get Emmanuel back, like,
It's
and
just that
get Alexander Desplat back
reality.
to do the score. I think get people who are familiar with Malick to do it, because I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of people who are working on this we're kind of sleepwalking. We're kind of like in a pool. They were in like a very deep pool and they just couldn't float to the top. They were like, oh shit, we're in the deep end here, boys. Like, Malick's just an interesting filmmaker. He's a very lucid filmmaker, and he has to have that cohesive unit with him to portray what he wants to portray. For some reason,
Mhm.
it just doesn't work in this.
Yeah, because I know I'm supposed to feel angry at all the things that are happening to Franz.
Hmm.
I know I'm supposed to feel angry about everything that's happening to his family, but I could care less.
No.
I should be connecting to Franz. I should be looking at him and being like, "Fuck yeah, that guy is awesome. Like, he's a badass." I should be, I should be pointing to him and going like, "Everybody should be just like him." Especially when this movie was only made 7 years ago, and we feel like, something like that now is pretty relevant to today's times
Right.
when things are looking more and more bleak as the time goes on
Mm.
and being a dissenter is less and less likely. Uh, you should point to someone like Franz as like the the model for what we should do even today.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the blueprint, but he's just not, unfortunately.
He's just not. He's just not. And there are other compelling stories within World War II that are better than this. Like I was saying, like you said with Grave of the Fireflies,
Hmm.
so much better than something like this. Empire of the Sun, so much better
It
than
does more
something
with
like
80
this.
minutes than this does with double the time. Crazy.
Yeah, it's yeah, the 3-hour time frame. I want to know kind of what the idea was for that. Like, we're gonna take this, we're gonna stretch it for 3 hours. I understand that they're stretching for within the time frame of the movie of, like, what, 4 years?
Mhm.
39 up to 43 or 44 or something like
Yeah.
that. But it feels like they're showing 10 or
Well, it feels like
attempting to
we're
show
watching
10.
10 because the film feels like 10 years. God.
I don't understand where the pacing is in this, because I you know, a good hour of this movie is, like, a year's worth of their
One
time.
thing that has to be understood about Malick is that he doesn't give a shit about pacing. Like, he just wants to
Clearly.
make the most he just wants to make the slowest film possible to please him and no one else, which is a valid thing. He does that with Tree of Life. But this is taking the piss, like,
Like,
fully.
this is why I said this is kind of pretentious.
Yeah.
And I'm very much against saying that any film is pretentious. I've heard, people constantly say that, Citizen Kane is very pretentious and stuff like that. And my argument is always, is the movie pretentious or are you too pretentious to go and give it a shot? And then I watch something like this, and then I'm like, "Oh,
Mhm.
this might be what they're talking about when it comes to pretentious films."
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I have something to say, but I'm not gonna say anything at all. That's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah.
I have 3 hours of your time that I'm gonna take out of your day to attempt to say something,
Yeah. 100%.
but I'm gonna have no substance to back it up.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I love this
I
guy, but dude's just a recluse. He's gone into hiding. Like, I don't think he's been photographed since the 90s.
Really?
Yeah.
That's actually crazy, I
I
didn't know
think he
that.
did one I think there was one photograph of him on set, but I think he sued the person who shot it or something, I don't know, but, um,
Yeah,
dude's a recluse. That's what I know.
yeah. What did you think about them using, obvious, like, buildings from that time period and buildings in that area, um, that all this stuff was actually going down?
I think that's I think that's okay. It's not like a Mulan situation where they
No.
thank him in the credits for using a a Chinese war camp. Like,
Yeah,
we ain't that stupid. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I think it's fine, especially if your film is about that subject. If it wasn't about that subject and about something else, then that's a different story. But because it's based on where this was shot anyway, where this entire thing happened, I think it gets away with it.
I think if they didn't have the I I was gonna say if they didn't have the Nazi backdrop, that maybe, like, their life in the village in and of itself might have been a bit better, but then again, you wouldn't really have much of a movie,
No.
but we don't have much of a movie to begin with. That's why I had such a I I have such a hard time with
Yeah,
it.
we didn't get much of a film at all, did we?
No, we didn't, and it's I wonder, like, what other, movies that August has done. I wonder if he's done anything else kind of in the same realm.
No,
He
he
was in
hasn't.
Inglourious Basterds, apparently. He was in Inglourious Basterds.
Oh,
I mean, I didn't know that. Which also, again, uh, movie about World War II. A movie
it's a lot
about,
better.
you know, I it's obviously like a bit of a parody of a lot of the movies about World War II, and it's more like upbeat and comedy and stuff like
Mhm.
that, but somehow much better.
It is.
I don't get it. Uh, I don't
I
get it.
struggle to understand it as well.
And it's not like the movie itself is difficult to understand in a sense of content, because it's not like they're trying to spell it out for you.
Mm.
It's all right there. Like, you can watch it and
They make it
understand
digestible,
everything that
but
was going
fuck,
on.
why is it so
Yeah,
tepid?
yeah, yeah. Why does it feel like nothing is there?
No.
Why did I have to pay $3.99 to rent this
You
movie?
pay well, technically I paid more because it's on
Yeah.
Disney Plus, but
It was on Disney Plus
yeah,
for
which
you?
is very
Yeah,
funny.
it went on Disney Plus for me.
Also, Inglourious Basterds is on
Trust me, I
Disney
would've gone
Plus
that
now,
route.
which is very funny. And
That's
Kill Bill
hilarious.
and Jackie Brown, which
That's funny.
wild.
It didn't help that whenever I purchased it through, Amazon Prime, like, for some reason, I have this problem with Amazon Prime where the mixes of the sound are very off, um, and the audio for, like, all the dialogue was very blown out and very just, like, tinny, and it didn't sound
That's
right.
Malick though. He does that
I
sometimes.
think but, like, the thing is, like, it feels like those deep fried, like, memes that people talk
Oh,
about? That's what it felt like
that's
to me.
horrendous. Amazon, sort your shit out. You're like the biggest company in the world. Sort your shit out.
So, like, I know that wasn't his
No,
choice, like, that was
they can
obviously
afford to
Amazon's
upload better
own.
files, pretty sure.
Well, the music was fine,
Uh,
and the sound effects were fine of, like, all the stuff going on around, them in the world, like, all that was good. It was just the dialogue that was off,
wild.
which is weird. Um, yeah, this is the only movie that I've had so far where I'm like, I can't, because yesterday we shot Perfect Days, mm, and I loved it, and I had a connection to it, and this one, I'm just like, ah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm just like, ugh.
I don't know what to do.
I feel like I've got nothing else to say about this film, you know?
Well, that's the sad part. It
Yeah.
may be one of those things that it may be like an hour-long episode, even though I usually go for, like, an hour and a half.
Yeah, this is kind of awkward now, isn't it? But
Yeah, it is. It is, 'cause I'm trying to find something
you're trying to
that I like
reach,
about this.
but
Well, yeah. Is there anything that you liked about this other than the acting in Austria?
uh,
Like, the beauty of Austria?
I like what it's saying, but kind of about the imprisonment of people unnecessarily and the banality of evil, or however you pronounce that. What is it? Banality, either
Yeah,
one. Like
banality.
banality of evil and the juxtaposition between a pretty image and a bad atmosphere kind of thing. And there's a lingering loss in there because dude's lost his home.
Yeah, he's lost everything.
So I like that, but the rest I can take or
The
leave.
rest is just there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest is just there, um, which is really disappointing.
Yeah.
Uh, I I I I mean, I usually talk about Oscars and stuff, like, with these films, and just like
This didn't
every
get
other
anything.
film
It
no, it
wasn't
didn't
even
get
on
it
the
like,
short
literally
list for cinematography, which is crazy because
no.
every year, every time Malick does a film, it's on the short list. This wasn't even on the short list, which tells you
Yeah.
how unenjoyable this fucking thing is when the Academy, who are the most pretentious people, who put in Bardo for cinematography, this wasn't even on the short list. So that tells you something. That tells you something.
I I don't know what to do, Josh. I think now we just go to the obvious, ending of this whole
Yeah.
thing, uh 'cause I can't talk about this film for
Nah.
2 hours like I did yesterday with Perfect Days. I
If we
think
talk about it for
that would
2 hours,
be
we've still
too
got an
long.
hour left of Hidden Life. Crazy.
Right, right, and that's my biggest fucking problem with this movie,
Yeah.
is it's too fucking long, and I don't understand.
I know dude took I think he took 3 years to edit it, but God, no wonder why.
He took 3 years to
Yeah, he
edit
probably
this?
fell
Hold on,
asleep.
hold on, hold on, I'm so hold on, hold on, hold on, this upsets me even more now, 'cause, like, you couldn't find a competent movie in there for 3
No.
hours? You couldn't find a way to pull me in for something that took 3 years to edit?
Yeah, dude took 3 years.
You took 3 years to edit this movie, which means you started editing this in 2016,
Mhm.
and you couldn't find nothing?
I think
2015, probably.
yeah, I don't know, because I'm gonna have to look at this shit, because I don't remember. I think it was the year before it came out at Cannes, which in that case it was probably shot.
But yeah, like it's very hard to have any sort of connection to this at all. The fact that it took him 3 years to edit this and we couldn't find anything out of this at all is sad. It gives me causes more questions than it'll ever give me answers. Because I will not be able to get any sort of answers out of whatever questions I have for Malick at all. You talk about all these other films that Malick has done. Which one would you suggest to someone over something like A Hidden Life? I mean, you said A Tree of Life is really good.
Yeah, Tree of Life, I'd say. Apart from that, I don't really. I'd say Song to Song is good, but
Yeah.
it's an acquired taste. Yeah, I think Malick's a very confusing director sometimes.
Yeah.
Badlands is good. I'd say Badlands.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
he goes very different as the years progress, I'd say.
Yeah. I would ask, like, would you rewatch this movie?
No.
I think we
No.
already know the answer to that. I think neither one of us are really gonna rewatch this movie.
No.
Because it's just too much, like, it's too long. I'd rather watch something like Babylon or
No, but
Barry
Babylon's got
Lyndon
some
or
subtext to it. Like,
I know,
this
I know.
doesn't
That's the
really.
thing is, like, this doesn't have anything that I can connect to at all. And I guess to wrap this up, what movie I always ask this at the end of every episode, what movie have you seen that you don't think a lot of people have seen that you would suggest someone watch for the very first time?
I'm gonna go with Columbus, which
Columbus?
is possibly my favorite film. It is a film about architecture and connection through architecture. Every frame is precisely lit. Every frame is static. I think the most vivid shot we get is just like a small dolly where it's just slightly moving, but everything just feels so precise, kind of like the way that architecture is in general, where architecture's got a certain it has to have a certain look to it, it has to have a certain symmetrical feel. And this film is very symmetrical, and I love every single thing about it. It's very slow. I'm not saying that it's the quickest film, but it's only an hour and 40 minutes, so or an hour and 45, something like that. It's on YouTube. If you want to watch it, it's on there. But it's just one of those examples of a perfect film, which is hard to find in today's landscape.
Nice. Josh, where can we find you on the internet?
Everywhere. I'm everywhere. You can find me on Twitter at JustFilms. You can find me on YouTube, JustJoshings, TikTok, JustJoshings. I go live occasionally on there, but I keep getting banned for no reason, so I'm not gonna go live anymore. But I post reviews and shit. Letterboxd, also JustJoshings.
Yeah, I will make sure that I have everything in the description, obviously. We will do this again, hopefully with a better movie, and we will discuss that here in a minute. That's just, we need something a little bit better for next time around. It's not that, this is not something that I won't put out or anything. It's just one of those that, like, it's hard to have a meaningful conversation about a movie that neither one of us connected to. I think that's why this definitely needs to go out, is because, like, having conversations about movies like that sometimes is the way to go.
Yeah.
Because it does happen that way. And the crazy thing is that someone else may be able to watch this movie and find something that we didn't.
They'll get something more out of it than we did. But
yeah. And you know what? I invite everybody who may listen to this or see this to let us know how you felt about this movie in the comments or on Twitter or whatever. Let us know how you felt, because for some reason we just couldn't find a connection. And I think that's kind of why I started this whole thing in the first place, is to have conversations about movies and their context and their content, and see if we can find something that we can all like enjoy.
Yeah,
this one we did not.
Yeah, we did not enjoy this thing, which is a shame.
Which is so sad.
It is a shame.
It's so sad because it's right there. It's all there. It's just not put in the right sequence.
No.
But I promise we will find something a little bit better here in a few minutes. Until next time, I will see everybody later. Josh, we'll have you on very soon.
Yep.
And until next time, bye.
Bye, everyone.